Well, good evening and welcome to another Omega Insight. Uh, I'm very grateful that you are able to join us this evening. My name is Anne Marie, and welcome. Tonight's topic, we're going to be talking about transformation as a journey, not a destination. I think this is a very important topic. Uh, not so much that it's new, earth shattering, but I think it's important for us to recognize that when we focus on the end goal, we miss the journey. And the journey is where we have our transformation, I guess is the best word, opportunities to grow and develop ourselves. I think about transformation. A lot of people come to Omega and they think, yeah, I've got it. I went through Omega 1. I'm good. I'm all good to go. And and that's it. No, it's not a one and done. I'm sure you've heard me mention this before. It's not a one and done. Transformation is continuous. I figure as long as I'm alive and breathing, I'm continuing to transform. The goal would be, whatever our destination is, that's our goal. I've seen a number of individuals where they're artists and they don't want to publish their painting yet because it's not right yet, or a musician who doesn't want to publish their song because it's not just right yet. So the question is, is it ever going to be right? I mean, yes, there are times when we focus and we want to have it a certain way, but perfection is at times what prevents us from excelling because we're so focused on the perfection and the process, excuse me, the product, that we miss the process. As I mentioned, um, there are people who think that transformation is a one and done thing. I'm going to get there. Or they're focusing on the end goal and they're missing all the things that are happening in between. The truth is, growth is continuous. It's a lifelong unfolding. I read something today where it said transformation is more like a river than a mountain peak. It's always moving and reshaping, which I think is a beautiful idea. We think about life. It requires us to be adaptable and flexible, to adapt and grow, adapt and adjust, continuing along on our way. Like we should be refocusing along the way. When we wait for the finish line, we're missing the process and we're so focused on the finish line. I used to tell this story in at the classroom. It's a story about a gentleman who was in a garden one day and he saw a cocoon, and the butterfly was just starting to break through the cocoon, and he was very excited. He's never seen a butterfly launch before, so he sat and waited. Now, of course, life unfolds at a very laborious process at times, and perhaps maybe he had things to do. He's like, come on, dude, this is going on too long. So he wanted to help it out, and so he figured that if he breathed on it with his warm breath, it would help open the cocoon faster. So he did. He gave a couple of onto the cocoon, and sure enough, his hot breath helped it open a little bit more, and the butterfly came out. But he was so excited, yay, butterfly. And then it lasted 2 seconds. And then the creature just kind of fell, and he grabbed it and it landed in his hand. And the poor little butterfly, because it missed the opportunity to break free on its own, its wings were all crumpled and they weren't fully developed and they still wet. And it was trying to open and trying to expand, and it couldn't. It missed its opportunity by not breaking through the cocoon, and eventually it died in his hand. And he felt terrible, and he said that was the biggest weight that he's ever held out in his life, that his impatience caused the death of another creature. And I think that's great, a great philosophy to think about. How impatient are we that we're not letting things unfold naturally? And that's when we focus on the transformation, when we focus on the journey rather than the end result. You've heard me say this in the classroom, where if you're teaching your children how to walk, you don't hold their hands the entire time. You've got to let them stand and fall and push themselves back up. That is strength training. That's developing their muscles. It's necessary. So when we miss that step, we're underdeveloped. And that can happen physically, emotionally and mentally. The same thing. It applies on all different levels of it, of us. Therefore, when I'm thinking about the end result, I may be missing out on all the different opportunities that are unfolding on my journey because I'm so focused on getting there. I know there's times where I've been out hiking and I'm looking at where I'm going and I'll trip because I'm not looking at the ground in front of me. So it's important that we have both. We can see our goal, but also remember where our feet are. And then, of course, when it comes to the journey, to think about the joy of going through this journey. We're closer, one step closer. What's one step closer? The transformation teaches us about patience. I've already mentioned resilience to continue on, even when there is an obstacle, continue on. And then, of course, humility. All of that comes into play. Those struggles, they're necessary. They're necessary to help us better be equipped to where we get to where we want to go. Um, when I think about transformation, and I think about our generation, this next generation, things happen so instantly, so instantly. I grew up in the time where there wasn't even internet or cell phones, back then. Back then. Yes, I'm that old person now. But I do know that with our generation now, they expect everything to happen this fast, and they're missing out on the development stages. It doesn't just happen. If you want to lose weight, you don't lose weight just because you think about it. You don't lose weight just because you skipped a meal. I mean, it's a process. You have to go through the process and the journey. That's it. And I can tell you, there's some people who weight loss or uh, Olympians, uh, athletes, musicians, anybody who gets to that stage will talk about their process, their journey. A lot of songwriters, a lot of their songs come from their journey. So it's necessary. Our transformation is necessary to be aware of the journey that we have and embrace it. I know you get, oh, yeah, I'm embracing, my husband just left me or my girlfriend just broke up with me. I get that. It's painful, but that painful process is necessary. It helps you perhaps maybe define where you want, what you didn't want, maybe have a sense of clarity in your life. Um, so when it comes to the practical examples, what can we do to embrace our journey? First and foremost, embrace the small steps. Hey, you want to lose 20 pounds and I lost 2 this week? It's okay. You lost 2 this week. That's great. Hang on to that. Celebrate the progress. You want to celebrate the progress, no matter how small, and think about setbacks. When there's a setback, again, an opportunity to grow. It's not a sign of failure. It's, hey, I'm developing willpower and oops, I slipped here. That's okay. I'm going to start again. Just reset yourself. Use reflection. I'm an advocate of reflection. I love, at the end of the day, sit back. How did I do today? Did I reach my goal? Last week we talked about intentions. Was I successful on my intention? So the same thing, reflection. How am I doing on my journey? Where am I? Is there any adjusting I need to go through? Yeah, I often think about sometimes when we're aware of the process and we're continuing along, we might discover that end goal isn't really what we wanted. We might change course, and that's okay to shift courses, to shift the way that we are. Start rituals. You all know I love journaling. Journaling is a really good one. Practicing gratitude. I am all about the gratitude in the morning. I love getting up, standing outside, facing the sun, doing my gratitude, greet the day with gratitude. I love that idea. So, be grateful. I'm grateful I had another opportunity today. I'm grateful I'm one step closer to my goal. Um, I think about our journey. Somebody had once said it's like a spiral staircase. If you've ever climbed a spiral staircase, especially if it's outside, I had a friend of mine who had a spiral staircase to the second story, so you can go up on the roof. Well, you're climbing that spiral staircase, and it feels like you're going in circles because you're seeing the same thing, but you're getting different perspectives. But the thing we have to remember, as every step we take, we are going higher. We're reaching the ultimate goal. Even though it seems like I'm just going in circles, I am actually reaching one step closer to my goal. So it's important to recognize another thing with the setbacks. Look at how far I've gone and look at how far I'm one step closer. Now, of course, the thing is to reach out, let your family and friends know, hey, look, I made it, but not like an arrogant, more, your support staff. I love accountability buddies. I think it's great to have somebody who can help hold us accountable. So find somebody that you can check in with. Hey, I'm one step. Oh, I really struggled today. Or, hey, I really did. I got one step closer. Celebrate those little victories, truly celebrate the little victories. And eventually you'll get to a point where you'll celebrate the setbacks too, recognizing, oh, I did it again, but look how quicker I was to become aware. Those are all great things that we can do for ourselves. So, as a recap, remember that transformation isn't just about arriving, it's about embracing the unfolding journey. So, it's not discounting the arriving. Obviously, that's where we want to go, but it's also embracing the journey that I'm taking. As I said last week, or the last time we met, I challenged you to pick an intention and see if you were able to have that intention. Well, I'm going to do the same thing now. Check and see how you're doing on your goal. Do you have a goal? First of all, let's call it personal growth, since that's what we're all here for. How are you doing on your personal growth goal? How close are you? Did you have any setbacks? Just check it out and see. But again, use accountability buddies. Have somebody who's going to hold you accountable, someone who's going to check in, someone who's not going to say, don't worry, but it's okay. But someone will have a good conversation. Well, why do you think that happened? What can we do to ensure it doesn't happen again? Have that conversation, have that person who can help hold you accountable, and then also offer to be an accountability for someone else to help them be accountable in their journey as well. So thank you again for joining me this evening on our journey. I am very grateful for our Omega community. I appreciate that. Before I go, I do want to mention that we have an Omega 1 in October. It's open for enrollment now, October 24th to the 26th. You can see the website. Just go there and register. I'm very excited that we're having another Omega program this year. And that's all I have for this evening. So thank you again for joining me. I look forward to seeing you in the future. And until then, thank you for keeping the spirit of Omega alive. Have a good night now. Bye now.